We're live. Close there. Right, thank you everyone. Welcome to, once again, our online seminars, our online honors. All right, so today we are going to be having the internet honor. Today we are going to be having the internet honor. So we welcome all of you. We just would like to bring to your attention that we are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. As you are part of this Zoom session, so if you are going to be asking any question, please raise your hand. You may also type it in the chat, and you are welcome to switch your video on when you are asking your question, because it will be on the stream pages so that we can be able to see your face as well. At this moment, we are going to have our opening prayer. We're going to have our opening prayer. Is that, Lusanda, sorry, I forgot, who's going to be praying?
Can Luca pray and do the devotion, Ayanda?
All right. Let's give Luca an opportunity so Luca is one of our Pathfinders. He is going to be giving us a devotion, and also he's going to pray for us.
Good day, everybody.
Welcome.
Good
Thank you
day,
so much,
Luca.
Luca. We can hear you.
From a very good let us bow our heads first. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the Sabbath day. Thank you for your love and grace. Please bless us as we read from your word. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
The past year has been different than what we are used to. I want to ask you, what is on your mind? Is the situation of the virus consuming your thoughts and conversations? Is the situation in our country affecting your life because it's making you fear the future? What is on your mind? This is a very important question. I have learned a priceless lesson that whatever is on your mind affects your life. The scripture I would like to share with you today is Philippians 4 verses 8. In this scripture, the Apostle Paul wants us to focus on these things. I'm reading from the King James Version. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Think about such things. We were designed to think of these heavenly things, but it is easy to have negative thoughts. We must make an intentional effort not to make negativity take over our minds. If we think of the thing Paul says, our lives will be better. We will start smiling more. We will be better friends, cousins, sons and daughters. Our lives will be better, and it will change for good, because that is the fruit we will see when we follow God's word and do what he tells us to do. Let us, with the help of God, take control of our thoughts and live the life he wants for us. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the lesson we learned from your word, and thank you for you wanting us to have a great life. Please help us in our efforts to think of heavenly things and not to worry about the things on earth. Please be with us and guide us through the rest of the day. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, this afternoon it's my single honor to introduce a friend, a colleague, a workmate, a very good buddy of mine. You know, we've been in the tunnels together for a very long time. I know he loves the Lord, and his passion is to reach out to teenagers and help them and to assist him. I know his background, he loves IT, anything IT. He's doing a lot of stuff on the internet. And so I trust we are in capable hands, and what he does, I always know he does it to the honor and glory of God. My friend Adam Lunga, the Pathfinders want the online honor. Please share what the Lord has impressed on your heart.
Thank you, Tawanda. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are well and safe. Please make sure we keep safe, Pathfinders. So today, my goal is to present to you this internet honor. And there's so many things that we're going to learn together. And at the end, I think I've just left it a bit for a practical. We're going to do some practical things together. Hopefully, power cuts, load shedding is not going to affect this presentation. So sit back, relax, and at the end, I believe that we are going to learn quite a lot of things together and do a little bit of practicals. So let me just share my screen with you. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen? If you can, Ayanda?
Yes.
All right. So we start. So as we all know, today's honor is all about the internet, and we're going to, I just want to introduce you to the team, the Northern Conference team that is behind all this technical stuff. Sorry, I didn't put the names for a good reason. So from my left, I'm not sure if it's your right, we have Director Ayanda. I think you've seen him presenting. He's our technical director for the junior youth tech team. And in the middle there, the only lady in the team is Belinda. And on my right, if it's your left, that's JB. We call him JB. And then at the bottom there, we have Ndumiso. And in the middle, Tawanda, and of course, myself at the end. So that's the team that is behind most of the things that are happening in the Northern Conference. That is your Google platforms, your Google Classrooms, anything that is technical related, that's the team. So we are going to be talking about the internet. And there's so many things. If you actually go online to see what actually is the internet, you realize that the internet did not just start. There was a need for it. And some time ago in the 1960s, a group of researchers wanted to share information. But because there was no internet, it was kind of hard to communicate. So people traveled documents. So let's say, for example, if you want to communicate with someone in Cape Town, you'll have to board a bus and go and deliver or some information or a hard drive or a disk at the time, or maybe you would use the postnet to go, which was a bit slow. So a group of researchers in the 1960s realized that, no, we needed something that can actually help us share information fast so that we can retrieve and do our work. So they formed what we now know as the internet. But at that time also, they didn't have these small little gadgets that we use, the laptops, your desktops, your mobile phones. They had these things called mainframe computers, which were so huge. So if you wanted to go and work on a computer at the time, you'd have to travel. You'd have to book a flight if you're from South Africa to the United States, and so that you can actually go and put information in the computer, and then the information can go to so many people. And so the other thing that also drove to the development of internet was that there was a time when there was war, in the Cold War, and the nuclear bombs. So people wanted to make sure that even if nuclear happen or if bombs explode and destroy a lot of things, they still needed to communicate. So in a nutshell, that's just a brief history of how the internet came about. So so what is the internet? So the internet basically is a connection of so many devices. It's an interconnection of computers, phones, servers, what else? Wi-Fi routers. So it's an interconnected system of devices and computers. And so, like for example, as we are here on Zoom, we're all connected to the internet using Zoom. So you can imagine your device is connected, his or her device is connected, Ayanda's device is connected. So all of these devices are connected, but they use what we call internet protocols. We'll talk about what protocols as we move on. So it's a connection of systems and computers and devices all together. I think currently in the world, we have more than 5 billion devices that are connecting on the internet per day or per month or per week. So there's quite a number of devices that are connected on the internet. So like I said, the internet is a global system of interconnected computer networks that use the internet protocol suite to link billions of devices worldwide. So it's not something that is tangible that you can say, no, I've gotten hold of the internet, here it is in my hands. So if you want to get hold of that, you have to get all the devices that are connected to each other, and then you can say, now I have the internet. So what is an internet protocol? An internet protocol is a suite commonly known as TCP/IP. It is a set of communication protocols used in the internet and similar computer networks. The foundational protocols in the suite are transmission control protocol and the internet protocol. A lot of people talk about, my IP, my IP, my IP, my IP. So IP is actually what helps you to connect to the internet. And those are the channels that the internet uses. So if whatever device you are on right now has got an IP that has let you to be able to connect to the Zoom platform so that you can see this presentation. So that's how protocols works, but there are quite a number of these protocols. But in a nutshell, I'm just going to give you a brief study of how this thing works. There is something that we call the OSI model, which helps us to, or helps how the internet works per se. So it just got normally, it depends with which study you would have taken, but normally it's got 7 layers of things that happen. So at the bottom layer, we've got what we call the data link layer. The data link layer, this is, some call it, it's a mixture of the physical and some softwares that are there. So when I mean the physical, I'm talking about the cables. For example, we use what we call fiber cables. So when people talk about fiber, there are cables that run to connect to servers. So internet, we all link to a server. Like now we're connected to a Zoom platform, but we're also connected to its server. That's what is giving us this platform. So at the data link layer, we've got cables, what do you call them, RJ45s, that when you get home, you just plug in a cable and then you're connected to the internet. And some phones as well, they use RJ45s to push data over IP or over the internet. So we have data link layer. We also have, like I was saying, there's what we call Ethernet, which is your cables, and there's ARP, which is called Address Resolution Protocol. So what ARP does is that when you connect to the internet, it starts looking for what is called a MAC address. Every device in this world has got what is called a MAC address, which is a physical address that is embedded on your machine, which allows you to be able then to communicate with other devices outside. So your device has got a unique, each MAC address is unique in this world. So at that level, we have Ethernet and ARP. We also have what we call the network layer. So this is where most of the communication happens. So when your device gets the MAC address, and then it moves to the network layer where it gets an IP address, which is then able to connect you to the internet. So at this layer, we've got the IP, we've got ICPM. We'll talk about ICMP later on. We also have got what we call the transport layer. So this layer, remember we spoke about protocols. So all these things on my right, which is your left probably, is like your Ethernet, your RP, your IP, your ICMP. These are protocols that the internet uses to connect your device to the worldwide area of internet. We go to transport layer. There's a protocol there, two protocols, TCP and UDP, transport control protocol, which is more secure than UDP. So most of you guys, if you're on a Wi-Fi, you are using a protocol called UDP because it's fast, but it's not so secure. So if you are using your normal cables and all that, you use what is called TCP protocol to connect to the internet. And then, of course, finally, we've got the application layer. So this is where most of the things happen. Now that you typed in that browser zoom.com or zoom.whatever, this is where you are now able to interact with web pages and all of that, and use different protocols like HTTP, FTP, HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. So if you want to deal with files, on the internet, downloading files, sending files, things like web pages, you use FTP protocol. There's also what we call POP, POP3, which is one of the latest, not per se latest, but it is a protocol that is used for emails. So in emails, I think we're going to touch some of those things as well as we move when we speak about emails. So POP is used to it helps you to send and receive email. So when you're sending an email and receiving an email, like, oh, I sent an email, I've received an email. So those are the protocols that you're actually using to communicate with each other. So if you have a question, just put your question also in the chat, and I think the team will be able to help me. If it's a burning one, you can raise your hand, and the team, please. Yeah, just help me to be able to do that. So like as you can see, so that is the physical layer. Those are cables right there. They communicate, they connect to, I think that thing that you're seeing where the cables are being plugged to is called a switch, which so every port there, every port that is on the switch, every small little hole, it's called a port, has got a different IP. And every cable that you see coming out from that particular switch is coming out there with a different IP to communicate. So maybe those are computers connected to that switch, or it's servers, or it's a switch to router or router. So every time when that cable comes out and it's sending data, either your email, it comes out with an IP address. We also have So that's basically how the ARP works. Like I explained before, that it requests your MAC address and then gets an IP address, and then so the IP address is what enables you to then finally go onto the internet. We also have the ICPM, which enables you to send and receive information synchronously. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see that command prompt. That is something that is written in command prompt. So every device has got that thing that is called an IP address. So I just took that on Google. I wanted to show you practically, but I'm not sure if that is going to be possible because of some internet challenges that I was experiencing. So basically, your device will always have an IP address. So that 10.135.151.39 is an IP address that allows that particular device to communicate or to be able to to connect to the internet. And of course, it uses what is called a subnet mask. We're not going to talk about. I think it's out of the scope. Out of scope of what we're going to talk about. So if you're not able to communicate to the internet, it means that your IP address is local. And normally a local IP address is 127.0.0.1. Or you might be using what is called an APIPA address, which is 192.168.254, I think. Yeah. So if you have those local IP addresses, you're not able to communicate. So you'll need what is called a public IP address to be able to communicate to the internet, like that IP address, which is 10.135.151.39. We also spoke about the protocols that allows you to communicate. We have got the TCP versus UDP, as you can see. So a TCP normally uses what is called a three-way handshake. You send your signal, and then it will like, oh, I know this device, or this device is requesting this information. Should we give it back? And then it sends the information, and then your device sends an acknowledgement back. Oh, thank you very much, I've received. But with UDP, it sends and responds. It doesn't really acknowledge that I have received. It doesn't use a three-way handshake like your TCP IP. And of course, we have those other protocols for your emails and your FTP clients. If you wanna deal with files online, uploading of files, uploading of web pages, you use those are the protocols that are used to access the internet. So the effects about the internet that are there, you will notice that. Let me just quickly do this. You notice that 98% of internet users say that they will not be able to live without it today. So probably most of you guys are in that 98%, or all of us guys are in that 98% category, where without internet, it seems as if there's nothing you can do. Everything seems to be only working on the internet. Without it, you can't do much. You can't chat with your friends. You can't give a call on WhatsApp. Maybe you can't send those Instagram pics. You can't do TikTok. You also see that 3,239 hours a month is spent online for an average internet user. So you can see that people really use the internet. So just imagine the time that you spend on the internet. I'm not really sure, but I spend time a lot because what I normally do requires the internet. So most of the time I am always online, and better part of the day I'm always connected. So that is true, that 3,239 hours a month, that's a lot of hours just on internet. And then 9 out of 10 people connect to the internet every day. I think that is for Pathfinders. I think you can agree that most of you guys have devices that it's either you're chatting to friends, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, maybe you're on TikTok, and all those other nice social media platforms. So if you want to find more about how many hours and all of that, especially for South Africa, I've put I think on the slide there is a link to see how many people's how much times people actually spend online in South Africa per day on social media on these different platforms per day. So we move on to what is called the World Wide Web, www. So every time you want to type something in a browser or in a search engine, it converts it to www. And the first time I met www was in 2000, and I think Yahoo had just brought the Messenger there, and it was fun chatting on Yahoo Messenger and all of that. So we were going to talk about what is the World Wide Web. You'll see that there is a difference between the internet and the World Wide Web. So what is this? A World Wide Web by name is the leading information retrieval service of the internet. The web gives users access to a vast array of documents that are connected to each other by means of hypertext or hyperlinks. So as you can see from the slide there, it says that this thing that we call the World Wide Web is a place where information can be retrieved, right? Of course, using the computer networks that we spoke about. And you can retrieve a lot of things, not only documents, you can retrieve videos. Like when you go to on YouTube, using the World Wide Web, when you're retrieving that, it gives you access to that. When you click that YouTube video, you're actually clicking what is called a hyperlink. So when you click this, like I have this video, and then you click that, you actually have clicked a hyperlink. The person that would have created it just created a hyperlink so that you're able to retrieve that information. When you go to maybe a book that you are reading online, and on that web page, or you're reading the NCSA page, all those texts that you see, it's called hypertext, and it's created using what I think it's HTML. So there is a lot of things that the World Wide Web does. All those hypertext, like I mentioned. So on a web, on a web page, on a website, the way it's written is that you just don't use things like a word processor to write text there. There's things that there is a language that is used to present text on a website, and that language is called HTML. I think if you are willing to then do the advanced internet honor, it will teach you how to create websites, how to create applications using HTML. I think there is a bit of JavaScript. If you're interested, then I think you should go and check it out, how actually this HTML or hypertext markup language is used to create the text that you see on every web page, and how are these links linked to the videos that you click, to the audios that you download, either on iPhone, rather on iStore, or the Android Play Store, wherever you download using links. So you can actually see how these people attach the links and hypertext to videos and audio and text. Okay. So from there, we move on to what is called chat rooms. I think, I'm not really sure if most of the Pathfinders know what chat rooms, maybe they do, and I'm not sure about the old folk, but chat rooms is basically a place where people just join in and start talking and chatting about a certain subject, and the communication is synchronous, and you send, people receive, chat about and you debate. Most debates are handled there. So it's quite interesting actually how chat rooms work. And there's a lot of, like now with technology, we even have cloud chat rooms where you can just chat and your information doesn't go away. We have it's enormous. It's huge. There's quite a number of providers that offers this, and most of them are actually free. You can just Google chat rooms and you can see which one you would love. But be careful. Internet is not always as you guys think it is safe. Internet has got its own bad things and of course good things if you're looking only for the good part. But if you're looking for the bad, you get it. And sometimes it might get you in a lot of trouble. This time let me just see if there's questions. I'm going to pause here a little bit, Blessing, and take a little bit of questions before we move on to the next segment.
Yes, Adam, there was a hand up, Galaxy A2. Can you just please unmute yourself and open your video so that you can ask your question? Thank you. Yes, Galaxy, you can unmute yourself.
Is it possible to make your own internet, sir?
Oh, great. That's a good question. Is it possible to make your own internet? Yes, you can make your own small internet at your own home. But remember, as long as you want it to connect to everybody else, it becomes an interconnected systems of every other device in the world. So when you create your own small internet at your house, it's called a LAN. It's called local area network, where you only yourself and your small devices can communicate together within the confines of your own home without actually going outside to the public domain, which is the wide area network, where people, you meet us, you meet everybody else, but you can just create your small network at home, connect every device using what we remember the protocols we were talking about. Your IP, you can create your own small IP addresses there, maybe an IP range of, say, if you have got 100, you can create your IP range of 100 hosts and small server at your house where you can just retrieve your own particular. But the moment you want to connect your device with someone else who's not within your confines, then it becomes the entire internet. I hope I've answered in a layman term. I have the tech team around with me. If you guys have got a better view and a better explanation, you can also jump in and explain. Tawanda, Ayanda, Belinda, and Tumiso. All of you guys can jump in.
Okay. If they are not coming in, the tech team, we also have a question in the chat. Before I take the three hands, there is a question there from Akiela. I'm sorry, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. It is saying, if someone is interested in making a website, how long does it take and what kind of skills do you need?
No, I don't want the video.
Okay, Tawana, do you want to take that one? Or should I just go ahead?
Yeah, you can go ahead, my friend.
Okay, I'm not sure why you don't want to answer that. Anyway, so creating a website is a skill. You can become it's actually a profession for many people. Those guys that create websites and web applications are called web developers or front-end guys. Very good profession. So you need a few skills, of course. You need to understand how a computer works. You need to understand how servers works, but not necessarily to go deeper into that. And then you need to learn at least front-end, what we call front-end languages or skills, which is your HTML, which allows you to put the text on a web page. We have got what we call, I think it's called CSS, cascading style sheets, which makes your website to look nice, like your colors and your what else, the margins, your boundaries to make them look nice. And then we've got what we call JavaScript, which is a cool thing, which makes your website dynamic instead of a static website. So with JavaScript, you can then maybe put a timer on your website, maybe put images that move and change every 1 minute, maybe every 2 minutes. So, but with time, if you want to be a pro, you can then move into what we call, what are they called? I think they're called frameworks, eh? Frameworks like things, you get into things like what is called Angular, React. Those things are very cool. Then you become what is called a full stack web developer, where you've mastered, and then you need to learn a little bit of, in fact, databases, because websites also store things on databases. Yeah, so there is quite a number. It's a good field. It's a good thing if you can learn it. But I think the advanced internet owner touches on that. So this is just the first set of the owner, and then if you want, you can learn the advanced internet owner and then learn how HTML works and on all of that. I hope I've answered.
Okay. We have 2 hands that are up. We'll just take them in their order. It is Tapelo and Joy. I'm not so sure if Owen, you are happy. Your hand was also up. So we are going to take Tapelo, Joy, and Owen. If yes, the 3 of them, you can just come one after the other.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
So if you create your, for instance, if you want to create your own internet, does it allow also Android users, or is it only iPhone users?
Maybe if I could come there to help Adam, is highlighted by the presenter earlier on. You need to have an IP. You need to have certain protocols. So in a local,
Tawanda,
yes,
we're struggling to hear you.
you're struggling to hear me. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
What I wanted to highlight there is that, remember what the presenter showed us, that when you are not on the World Wide Web and you create your own local network, you create your own IP addresses. So yes, as long as you are connected to your own, in your own setup, the people and the devices in that local area network can communicate with each other, as long as they have an IP address that speaks to the server that is running that network. They can speak to each other either on Android, on Windows, on Mac, or Apple. They will speak to each other.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, Joy. Then Owen.
I would like to ask the thing about the internet. So in the internet, we also have like things as scams and so many other stuff. So if you were to see that this website on the internet was a scam, how could you notice that it was a scam? Like, how could you notice by just looking at it or going on there without even accepting any things that it will let your phone allow, like sending messages or sending errors?
Okay, that's a very good question, Joy, but there is a part in the presentation where we're going to talk about security and viruses and all of that, and scams and all of that. So if you can hold on till we get there, it's not so long, we'll be there, so that we, at least when I answer that part, everybody else can get information on it, rather than preempting it now. So can, if possible, if you don't mind, if you can hold on to it, and then we can address it as we move on. Can I continue now, Blessing? Is there still more hands?
Yes, we had Owen's hand, and Andy, they had a question in the chat. I think I can take those two for now. Then we can move on. The other hands, I will take them later.
Hi, Adam. I don't know if you
Yes,
can
yes,
see
you
me
can go
or
ahead.
hear me. Okay, cool. I only wanted to assist
If-
on
if-
the question that was asked with regards to can you make your own internet and all that. Um, because I'm trying to be a Pathfinder as well, and the question is relating to you having your own internet at home that you'll be able to connect with other people, but then the the answers that were given is having a network at home that is not going outside. So what I wanted to assist is that there are two ways that can be done where you can have your internet at home, you thinking you are connected to yourselves in the house, and you are also going to YouTube, not knowing that there are other people also on that same network, which is what we are talking about, the World Wide Web. And you can have your own internet at home or your own network at home. Let's say, put it right as you have your own network at home that doesn't go online, but it only communicates with the devices that are in that area or that are in that house. So that's how I think the Pathfinder can understand it better, where it's a network that is just home, but you won't be able to go on WhatsApp, you won't be able to go on YouTube and communicate with other people because it's just a network. It's not going public to other people. So there is a network that goes public to other people, and there is a network that can just communicate with you guys, and no one will interfere in that network because it's just a network that you guys created for you to share your files, to share your pictures and all those other media files. Thank you.
Okay, cool then. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I think one way to understand it is that what we call the internet is a public space where everybody in the world can connect to. But if you don't want that, then you're confining yourself to your own local place where you are not going to go into every other place where public people, public IPs or public computers can interact. Thank you so much for that. I think, yeah. Can we move on, Blessing?
Adam, I was just kindly asking if we can allow Andile's question.
Blessing,
then we
can we move on?
Yes, after Andile. Andile is asking to say, Andile was saying, how is the World Wide Web different from the internet? I think just a quick one, then you can move on.
Oh, okay. Anyone else who wants to tackle that? Ayanda, do you want to tackle, or should I tackle it? Okay, I'm putting my boss on the spot. But anyway, so the main difference is that, remember I said that the internet is a global system of interconnected devices that uses different protocols to communicate, right? And the World Wide Web allows you, through the internet, through those devices that are connected around the world, for you to be able to retrieve information like your videos on YouTube, like documents, like books, if you use maybe your DC app. So That's what actually the World Wide Web does. But without the internet, without these devices connected together, there will not be a World Wide Web. You will not be able to retrieve information. So a World Wide Web, in a nutshell, gives you access or allows you to retrieve information. It can be documents, it can be videos, it can be audio from the internet, from this host. Just maybe an example might help. You want to get the documents that I have on my PC right now. How are you going to do that? So you'll need the World Wide Web to be able to do so. So like you go, I give you maybe my IP address, I give you access to my phone using a different platform. Maybe let's say I'll give you maybe TeamViewer for those that work with TeamViewer, or AnyDesk. And then, so you find that AnyDesk is actually using the World Wide Web through your device, which is connected to the internet, to be able to retrieve certain things that you want from my PC or from whatever server, maybe from a YouTube server, maybe from a Google server, from, I don't know, maybe Microsoft server, or where you download softwares. So that's what the World Wide Web actually does. And the internet is what allows you to communicate with that. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on. Leslie?
Yes, can we move on? Those with questions, can you just put them in the chat? Then in the next question segment, we'll take them by their order. Thank you, Ada.
Thank you so much. Then we move on to downloads. I think this is most people download things, and there's this latest. I think let's be realistic. Pathfinders love movies. I know directors say no, don't watch movies, but Pathfinders do watch movies. They have got sites where they download these movies. So download. So what is it? What is a download? So a download is basically copying a file from a remote computer, which is a server per se. So most of the things that we get on the internet to our local machines, whether video, whether documents, whether audio, whether, I'm not sure, maybe softwares, they are all stored in what we call servers. So servers are gigantic computers, not as big, but when I mean gigantic, it's just a box that has got massive storage, massive RAM, maybe a very good processor, so that it can process a lot of requests per second or maybe per minute. Maybe let's say maybe a server that is a YouTube server. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to guess. Maybe it's got 1 trillion. That's pushing it. Maybe a zillion. Maybe that's pushing it to maybe a lot of terabytes of hard drive. That is space. And then maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe how many gigabits of RAM it has, so that it can, maybe it is running a Xenon processor or something like that, so that when you guys go on YouTube, just imagine the entire world is on YouTube and everybody is requesting. So that's how these things work. So downloading is you're actually getting files from that remote server using either the protocols we spoke about. We spoke about a file transfer protocol. We spoke about HTTP. So what you do is you request to the server. So I think it's a process that we will learn if you want to continue with these honors on the advanced, where you send what is known as the HTTP request. So an HTTP request, you send a request to, when you click that link to say download. So what happens in the background is that YouTube, it sends to the YouTube server to say, oh, someone is requesting this video. Is it there in the server? And then the server says, oh, I have the video. Who wants it? Oh, okay, give it to him. And then it comes back. Remember, we spoke about that communication that happens whether it's TCP or UDP, but using different protocols at the application layer, because you're working on a YouTube, which is an application, and then you get the file, and then the file is not downloaded on that server, but it copies the file from the server to your local machine. So whenever you're downloading, it downloads to your local machine. If you have space, then the file can store, but if you don't have space, you will find that the file it's just going to tell you that you don't have space for it, like most of you guys on your Android phone when you're trying to take snappies, photos, and it says you have run out of space. So you can download a lot of things, like I can send you my pic right now on your WhatsApp, and then you're able to download it. and put it on your local machine. So like I was saying, it's just a basic way of copying a file from a remote computer to your local machine, and using the different type of protocols, like your email protocol, which is your POP or your IMAP, and your FTP and your FTTP. And then of course, so when you download, other people upload. So for those things that you download to be in that server, they were uploaded by someone. So what is an upload? Upload basically is when you move files from your local machine to a remote server, or to a server where it is stored, where for the sake that others can then access it, so that they can also download it. So basically it's a way of moving files from your local machine to a remote server. You can upload your videos on YouTube. It's actually going to a server. Not that YouTube is just a place where it's sold, but YouTube uses a server to store information. And then of course, talk about a website. Yeah, I think we can also answer some of those questions. So a website is just a place where one or more files that what we call pages are stored on a server. So websites don't run. I think there is a technology these days where you can actually run your website on your local machine. I think and .NET is doing something did something along those lines.
Officer Adam, your network is
I'm not really sure how I think it's called web assembly or something, where you actually can just log on one.
Adam, can you hear me? Adam, can you hear me? All right, apologies for that. We are trying to resolve the issue. Our presenter is trying to sort out the network. Looks like there is a challenge that happened there. Maybe Blessing, at this time you can take some questions.
And am I audible now?
You're very clear. Please continue. I switch your video off. You can put it back on.
Okay.
I would ask Officer Adam to go back to the previous slide. I think that's where we lost him.
Okay, Zweli, am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible, sir. I
Where
would
did
ask
the-
you to go to the previous, I think start from download. That's where we lost you.
Oh, download.
Yes.
Officer Adam,
Yes, ma'am.
the participants are asking if you can also put the slides up. They are saying you are a bit faster. If you have slides of these presentations.
Oh, okay.
In English, Adam, they are saying that if you can share the slides after the presentation.
Okay, the slides are available. So are we together here now?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so I should start here. Okay, I was saying that download is basically a way of copying files from a remote server to your local machine using different protocols. Remember, we spoke about those other protocols where at the application layer like HTTP, FTP, POP. So those allow those protocols give you access to be able to get files or files that can be your movies, your YouTube videos, your audios to your local machine. So it's basically copying someone who has someone else's files that have been uploaded to a remote server to your local machine. I think that's in a nutshell what a download is. So whenever you click that button to say download, you're actually getting files from a remote server to your local machine. And then upload, upload is basically you taking files from your local machine to a remote server. For instance, you've got a very nice video that you want to share with us, and you've got a YouTube channel. So what basically you do is you upload that video on YouTube so that we can access it. So when we have access to that particular video, what actually happens is that we are now able to download it as well. So upload and download actually work very well together. So someone else has to upload something that you download. I might have to upload something that you then have to download, or you upload something that I have to download. So in a nutshell, that's how upload and download works. Now we're going to talk about websites. So a website is basically one or more files, what we call pages, that are stored on a computer, which is a server. So in the world we have, in many organizations rather, let me not say in the world, but many organizations rather have what we call web servers. So others have got what we call FTP servers, where it's only files, maybe documents. Others have got web servers where their web applications are accessed from. So in those websites, I think when you can Google the Northern Conference website, you'll see that it's got so many pages. Those pages, we call them files. So we've got a home page, which is a home file. We've got maybe an about us page. It's also files. We've got maybe contact us. We've got the shop there. It also has got different pages. We've got a registration where we've got the online owner registration form. So all of those are pages, but in a nutshell, they are files because they use hypertext markup language to be written. So websites are mostly accessed via internet. But I know that there is some technologies that are in the pipeline, and a lot of these big techs are using certain technologies like WebAssembly, where you can actually, the entire website can be downloaded to your local machine, but it still needs access on the internet for it to be updated. So you can still run using cache memory to visit previously accessed pages. Then we go to what is email. So email is basically, let me put that, an electronic mail. So email means, or email just basically stands for electronic mail. It is a method of exchanging messages between two people or multiple people using electronic devices. So I think those that grew up, directors and other counselors, maybe your grandparents, can actually testify that before email, they would write letters Ayanda can testify. I think he wrote his first letter to his wife now. Wrote a letter there and probably emailed it by hand or by post. That's what people used to use before these electronic devices came about. So it's basically a method of exchanging messages between people. So instead of me moving around with a paper or an envelope that has got information for someone, I'll just have to sit on my computer and then just type using the hypertext or POP to send and receive immediately, instantly. So that's how emails basically work. We've got a number of email types and email protocols, but we'll talk about that as we go. At this moment in time, we'll move on to what is called viruses. I think, was it Joy who asked? Joy who asked about how do you protect yourself from scams and websites that, I think this is the topic that I was talking about. So we're moving on to a virus, to a computer virus. So what is a virus? A virus is a type of malicious code or program written to alter the way a computer operates and is designed to spread from one computer to another. So actually, I wanted to demonstrate this, but because of my network challenges, most people, it's actually easy to create a virus that can actually damage, that can just wipe your entire computer and everything. Just I think about 4 or 5 lines using batch scripts. So viruses are very, I think lately we've been in some deep trouble in the internet world. People just tell you, don't just open every link that just comes on your phone. Don't just open every hi that you get on a social platform. Don't just open every attachment that is just coming on your email. Don't just go to every other page that you see as an advert. Lord, we're selling this. So most people actually embed malicious code in these adverts, in these links that they send you. So the moment you click on it, the virus actually can go and encrypt itself in different places on your machine. It can encrypt your entire folders. You're not able to access them. It can even change your password. It can even change the entire registry, and the entire hard drive can be locked so that you are no longer able to access. And then you see these people, now that start sending you messages to say, pay us this much so that we can unlock your computer. We've hacked you online. I think there's a time when government departments were hacked. There's a lot of things happening. They wanna cry, they wanna what, and the ransomware, all those type of malicious programs that are written so that they can just affect other people. Just do it for fun, not for money. So they can fix. Other people do it for revenge, and of course, other people do it to just damage and cause a lot of damage and loss of information. So, in a nutshell, that's what a virus is. So, we have got different types of viruses, but according to the requirement, we need to talk about a Trojan and a worm. So we'll talk about a Trojan. So a Trojan horse or Trojan is a type of malware that is often disguised as legitimate software. And you, Pathfinders, you need to be careful on what softwares you use. Everything that you call an app on Android or on iStore is not what it looks like. You need to be sure that this app is legit. So most of I remember when I was, maybe let me just share with you something that I did some other time. I saw this app that says, no, you can hack any Wi-Fi and wada. And I took that on Android and I put it on my phone. Within I think a few hours, my phone was running out of space. This thing kept on multiplying. You see, and you try to diagnose, troubleshoot what's going on. The processor is just processing. It's got a lot of things that are happening. So it actually was just trying to encrypt my entire phone, and the only way I could do it was just to wipe the entire phone and then restart. But so you just need to be careful. Some of these things, you think they are legit, make sure you read about it before you install certain softwares, before you install certain apps on your phones. Make sure you are sure that it is what it is called. So there's so many reasons for Trojans, what we call cyber thieves, hackers. They're just trying to get access to your user system, and they can change. They can take your banking details. They can take your entire thing. Others just, okay, so this person stays there. When you communicate, they know if you're going out on weekend, they can actually come around. And so there's a lot of other things that you need to be careful about softwares that you call, no, this software is legit. Just be careful when you download them, because a Trojan might be there. We'll talk about antiviruses. Antiviruses can actually detect some of these Trojan and be able to protect you before it is too late. We've got what we call a worm. A worm is a computer type of malware that spreads copies of itself from computer to computer. So basically, maybe my computer has got a worm, and then you guys come and use your memory stick or USB or flash drive, and then you take a file, or I transfer my file using what is it called, Bluetooth and all those other things that transfers files. And before you know it, that thing spreads. And since it's a computer program that is written and it can replicate itself, before you know it, it can take a lot of space and encrypt files. You will not be able to access your files. So just be careful. Make sure, as we will be talking soon, you have a proper antivirus, not a copyrighted, not a cracked type of antivirus, but a proper antivirus. Make sure your stuff is updated. Make sure you're checking what's going on your devices. So we are going to move on to the to question 2. It says, define the following terms and give examples of each. Before I go into that, I'm gonna give Blessing. Is there questions?
Yes, Adam, there are questions. I will start with Akela's question. It's a follow-up question. The first question was that it was if someone is interested in making a website, how long does it take? What skills do you need? So there's a following question which is saying, if it doesn't work and you come across a glitch, what happens next?
Okay, so I didn't get the other part of the question. It says, if it doesn't work, what doesn't work? If they can't make the website, or if they can what? What type of glitch are they talking about? Is the learning curve, or what glitch is that?
Akela, can you just say your question in Word, so that the presenter can get what you are exactly asking? You can't unmute. Akela, can you unmute yourself? Or maybe
Okay.
we come. Okay.
My question was, if you try and make the website and then it's not working, and then you come across a glitch, what happens?
Okay, I was asking, what type of a glitch are you talking about? If you're making a website and it doesn't work, would you have failed to make the website, or what type of glitch? Are you saying the code is not running, or what? I think what we can do, Blessing, is that we can try and address that maybe later on, so that we can move. I see my time is running out, and I still have quite a number of slides before we finish. So can I ask Pathfinders or councillors to just hold on their questions, and then we can just move into the question and answer segment. Let me just try and push.
Okay, Adam, that's fine. They can just also type them in the chat for the time being, so that when I come, I'll take them in their order. Then we ask probably when you are done with your slides. Thank you. Adam.
Who's supposed to speak now?
It's Adam, and it's like his network is giving him a problem. Ayanda.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm on two connections. So I think one of the connection is the one that is losing a lot of internet. My apologies for that.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Adam.
Am I audible?
No, you are not audible. We are glitching. We can't hear you.
Ayanda, can I just maybe pick up questions? Maybe you can attend to them with the other tech team. As Adam is trying to come back, is that fine?
All right.
Okay. Let me just take the questions that are in the chat. I'll start with this question here from Jabulo. Okay, let me start with Joy's question. It is saying, when you have searched for information and the internet is not giving you the right answer, what do you do?
All right. Thank you for that. When you are searching for information on the internet, it's about the words that you use that will give you the answers that you are looking for. If the kind of words and combinations that you've used do not give you what you are looking for, you must just try and be more specific using very short, using a few words, not too long. Otherwise, you get too many options. Using a few words and make sure that your keywords are included in your chat. And that would be that. Tawanda, please feel free to respond to questions. Tawanda still available?
Noted.
Okay. Belinda, excuse me, Blessing, you can continue.
Okay. The other question here, it is there, what do I do when my device has been hacked? From Andile.
When your device has been hacked, and the best you can do is to the best or the worst case scenario is to literally delete every file on that device and restart. That will be the best thing you can do. Why? Because remember, a virus will come onto your system, it will get into certain files, it keeps digging and goes into the whole system, it spreads. So the best would be to to clean out the drive, all the files, then start afresh if you do not, or restore from a backup. That would be the best thing. Now, because you've got information that you have, you don't want to lose it. Many people have installed antiviruses and other softwares that can assist deal with the virus if the virus has been detected by those those companies' labs. They can go in and track the virus and try and retrieve it and remove it. So you will install an antivirus which will go in. It will try and look for that virus to remove it from the files. But most of the times, if it's failing you, you may end up losing everything. So I think the best place is to take caution. Try and avoid getting viruses on your machine. So install a software that an antivirus that can pick these viruses up before they get onto your machine and spread. But once it is spread and you don't want that virus to be there, the best thing you can do is to remove every file on your machine and reinstall again.
Okay. Akela is also asking another question, and it is saying, if ever you come across a virus and you remove everything as Tawanda have just mentioned, is there a way to reload the things back to your device?
Yes, there is. If only you were keeping a backup before the virus came. So many systems, many machines today, they will ask you to when you are setting it up, to have a place where you store backups or where it will take information and store it. So you need to have a backup system in place so that when this happens, remember, if you've got a backup system, what is basically happening there, it's taking your files, your data, and it's placing it on another system, another computer, another machine or a server, and it's saved there as a backup. So when the virus attacks your machine, your current machine, and its data, and you remove everything, you then go to that other machine, connect to it, then restore that information onto your machine. So it's information before the virus came that you're putting back on your machine. So yes, that is one of the ways you can do it. I know that now our hard drives have got a way of storing data. It becomes an expensive exercise to get someone to get back that information. It's very expensive. You can take it to a lab and you're looking at a minimum 4,000 or 5,000 for a small hard drive for them to restore some of the files back. But the best thing you can do is always back up your information, store them on another machine, on another device. In the event that device is attacked, you can just connect to that machine and put back the information that is being affected. Infected, sorry.
Okay, the next question, it is from Galaxy 8A2, and it is saying, which is the best TCP or a UDP?
And am I back?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, sorry, I had to switch on to another device. I think my other device has got its own issues. Sorry about that. Sorry, team. Sorry. Where were we? Can I continue now?
There's a question on the floor, which I think
Okay.
needs your attention. Which is the best TCP or UDP to use?
Oh, the protocols. Okay, so it all depends with what you want to do. So each one has got its own pros and cons when you want to, but if where it's applicable. For instance, if you want fast retrieval, fast connections, the best to use would be your UDP if you're not so much interested in the secure stuff. But if you want to be a slow person and just get everything right and retrieve, I'm just trying to put this in a layman's term so that at least everyone can be. There's actually a lot that goes on into these protocols. So if you want fast retrieval of information, fast responses, you send, you get, UDP is your fast. I think most Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi or 8.0 whatever uses UDP, and your TCP protocol is rarely used where you need to retrieve information so very fast. So in a nutshell, that's exactly that. Can I move on, Blessing?
Before you move on, maybe let's take these questions that are in the chat. It says, is it possible to stop a virus or a worm before it uploads? It's coming from Brian Lamini. Then the other one is from Candice. It says, what is a flame and flame wars? The last one says, what do you do when someone is stalking you on the internet? You can block them, but they still send you messages.
Okay, I think so. Most of these questions actually are going to be answered as we are going to be moving on into what we call the antivirus softwares. What type of security is there? What do you do when such things happen? So if they can hold up such type of questions, and then we can answer them later on.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. We are here to define the following terms and give examples of each. And so let me just put the entire slide so that people can see. So we need to talk about what is a webmail. So you'll find that webmail are web-based email accounts, right? These are usually free email accounts that are operated from a website. Examples are Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo Mail. There's a which other ones can I think of? There was Webmail before. There's which other email? I think Outlook is also a free. You can create yourself a free Outlook account without having to pay anything. Yeah, so we have Gmail. So basically, webmail accounts are your web-based email accounts. So they only operate on the web. That's what it's actually saying. So webmail allows the users to access their emails as long as they have access to the internet connection and a browser. So you need a browser. So if you are using, like for instance, your Gmail account is a webmail. So you need access to the internet for you to be able to access your Gmail, your updated Gmail inbox, or whatever you have sent. So if you don't have the internet, right, it means that you cannot even access that email account or even the drafts that on your account, even whatever you have sent, whatever you have received, you are not able to access. And then we move on to a protocol. So there's these two protocols. I think this is a very important stuff that you need to understand. So we have what we call POP3 and what we call IMAP. There's two different. These email protocols are different. And I think most people, when they're setting up, they just click and say, move, next, pop 3, next, as long as it works. But they have got their advantages and disadvantages. So we'll look at what POP does. So POP is your normal standard protocol that is used to receive emails from a remote server to a local mail account. So what POP does is that it allows you to download the entire email file, which we call a PST, right? It's called a PST, I think. Yeah, it's called a PST. If I'm not mistaken, the extension is a .pst. So POP, whenever you're using a POP, let's say you have your Mac today and you're using POP. The moment you lose that Mac, the whole emails are also gone. You're not able to retrieve them unless if you get your Mac back, because what happens is that it downloads automatically the entire emails to your local machine, right? So that's one thing that POP does. So if you're a person that wants everything to be on your local machine, POP gives you that opportunity to download an entire email file. So your email that comes every day is downloaded and it's added to a PST file. So email files can go to as far as 50 GB. Others that you really work on these emails, if they are on a POP, so you can imagine what that does. But now POP does not allow you to store these things on the cloud. And they use default ports like your port 110. We'll talk about ports. I think you can see on the slide what the definition of a port is. So 110 is not it's not an encrypted port, and 995 for POP is a port that most people use to connect securely to their email accounts. And then we've got what we call IMAP. So IMAP is more better than POP. So most people nowadays, if you want to set an email account, make sure it's IMAP, because it can store it on the cloud, on the webmail, like what we spoke about, the webmail based accounts like your Gmail. So if you lose your computer, you still are able to retrieve your emails wherever, on whatever device you're going to use. That's the advantages. That's the advantage IMAP has over POP. You can just go in and then just use your account, your normal Gmail account, your password, and then it syncs, and then you're able to retrieve your entire email box. But if you're using POP, even if you go to another machine and you still log into, it will try and say it will start a new file, and then those other emails are not, you will not be able to retrieve them. And it uses default ports as well, like POP, but it uses a different type of port, which is secure. It is 993. So a port is basically a virtual endpoint where it allows you to connect to service. For instance, if you ever tried to log on to look for something online and then you are not able, it just keeps on saying it's blocked, because that port that you're trying to use maybe on your organization, it's blocked by the organization. So you're not able to go out of your local network to the web or to the internet, because that port that gives you access, like I know that it's 443 Tawanda, if I'm not mistaken. 443 allows you to go to the internet. So if that port is blocked, you are not able to go to the internet. So there's a lot of ports. I think you can, it's a good thing if you want to venture into the world of networks, you can actually look and study about ports. They're very powerful. Hackers use these ports to get to you. So you need to know which ports should be opened and which ports are not necessary. And if there is any port that is open that you might need to lock on a network, especially organizations, maybe for home networks might be a challenge, but for most organizations, they actually block unnecessary ports so that they try as much as possible to block entry to their networks. So we move on to web browsers. What is a web browser? So a web browser is basically a software application that lets you access the World Wide Web. So remember, we speak about internet, allows you to, it connects so that your World Wide Web works. So for you to be able to access the World Wide Web, you need what is called a browser. And there are quite a number of browsers that are there. We have got Google Chrome, we have got Microsoft Internet Explorer, which is deprecated. People no longer prefer that, but I know that some old legacy systems are still trying to access Internet Explorer. So there are other, there was a time when SARS actually had a challenge. I think it was last year when you wanted to submit your whatever, it would require an old browser, which is like Internet Explorer. And what was it called? Adobe something that allows you to read files there. We also have Apple Safari. For those that are on Apple, I think Ayanda can attest to that. He uses it a lot. That's his browser. We've got Mozilla Firefox. We've got Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge is coming big time. I think Windows, for those that are Windows users or PC users rather, there's so much interesting stuff that Microsoft has done. If you can't wait, just check out the new Windows 11 that they're bringing out. Oh, the Edge is looking nice. I think I have percentages of people that use it. So you find that Chrome, a lot of people uses Google. So everyone just Google it, and they're using a Google browser. Google it. I was on Google and I checked, and a few of people uses Microsoft Edge. Internet Explorer, there was a time when it took almost, but now people no longer uses it. Everybody prefers Google. And we've got Apple. Apple users are not so many. There's just an elite group of people that uses this Apple Safari. So most people, even if they're on Apple, they even still install Google to run on their phones. We also have Mozilla Firefox. Mozilla Firefox is cool if you're into a lot of networking. There's a lot of extensions that it can use. Some of them I can't divulge because they're very risky if you don't know what you're doing. And of course, Edge for Windows users, it opens doors to the entire Microsoft world for you. And then we move on to chat rooms. Okay, internet relay chat. So internet relay chat is a method to broadcast and receive live synchronous messages. There are hundreds of IRC channels. You can Google them online. And people provide servers. I think I put just a background where you can see people can just talk about anything, maybe a blog that is just talking about fashion and people talk and share ideas and all of that. So we have got even cloud chat rooms. We've got examples of these IRCs, and we've got what you call MIRC, which is a popular chat relay used by individuals and organizations to communicate. They share, they play, and work with each other on this type of networks. Obviously, you still need to be connected to the internet to do that. I think most of you guys might know what is called WeChat or WeChat. It's a lighter version than the previous ones. There are actually a lot of them. I think there is also it's called Cloud. I'm forgetting the name. I think it's C Cloud or something chat, where people can just log in and start chatting. I think some of them you can even chat online without downloading the application on your mobile device. But most people, what they just do is that they just take these applications, put them on there, and just chat with everybody. So most people, you don't even know who you're chatting to, which is kind of risky. You don't share your personal information. I think those are rules that you need to follow on whenever you log into your online or on the internet, to not share personal information and details. So I've also put a link to maybe 15 best client this internet relay chats for Windows. Sorry, Ayanda, I didn't get one for Mac, but there are quite a number of them that you can use there. So you can follow the link and see how these things work. And then we move on to social media or streaming media. So you can see there, someone is trying to, that is cool. As it is happening, they're streaming it. And as people are, whatever, sorry, I just took it online to just show you that you can actually stream something without actually downloading it on your local phone. So as it happens, you are actually viewing it. Someone is streaming it. So streaming media is a multimedia that is delivered and consumed in continuous manner from a source with little or no intermediate storage in network elements. So as it happens, people actually, is like now, people are watching this live as it happens, right? As I speak, someone is on YouTube watching, like you guys, you're not even downloading this. So this is an example of streaming media as it happens. And then we move on to another section of search engine and search directory. So search engine basically is your Google search engine. We spoke about a little bit about it. It is an online tool that helps users of the internet find sites and information they're looking for. That's why people are, like I was saying, whatever you're looking for, which browser do people normally rush to? It's Google. Let's Google it. So you actually, basically what you're doing is you're using what is called a search engine. So Yahoo, I think Yahoo is, yeah, they're still there, but they're out of, yeah, they're still there. They're trying their best. Google, we have Edge. They even have a nice, like I said, they even have a cool browser now, an engine. I think they use Bing as well. Google, Yahoo, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, they have also theirs. So it just helps you, whatever you're looking for, you have to use a search engine. And these things use serious algorithms. I think you can see from the background, someone was just typing COVID-19 in Asia, and you can see the list of all these things that comes. Do you want the statistics for today? So it gives you, that's the best thing with search engine. So and algorithms that run behind. And then we move on to, I think this is where Joy comes in. I think will be your answer to the questions of scams that happens and viruses that, how can you prevent them? So we're speaking about antiviruses. And antivirus software is a kind of software used to prevent, it scans, it detects, it deletes viruses from a computer. Most of them, if they are legit, they do that. And once you've installed it, it runs automatically in the background. So what it does, it constantly runs. I think there is some terminologies, I think they're out of scope, called intrusion detection and intrusion prevention. So they check, is there an intruder that is trying to come? Is there malicious software? Anything that is detected that is assumed by the virus software to be a malicious code, it detects it, it captures it, it quarantines it, it actually puts it in its own way, and then if it is not safe, it will delete it from your computer. So some are best, some are just there. I think I remember when I was staying with Tawanda, I hope you don't mind. Tawanda is a fan of Avast, so you could hear that. For those that have used Avast, you could hear that sound that always comes. A virus has been detected, type of thing. Every time something you try to put a memory stick, it cries out, virus has been detected, threat has been detected, and then it takes that virus and quarantines it, and then you can choose what to do, either delete it. If it's safe, then you can say ignore it. And we have a lot of type of virus companies that offer this virus protection. Comprehensive virus protection programs help protect your files, your hardware from malware such as worms, Trojan horses, spyware, and may also offer additional protection such as customizable files and website blockings. So there are certain types of things that this antivirus software brings. So there are websites that the moment you go there, the moment you type that website, it is completely blocked, and it will tell you it's not safe, and it's not going to make you allow, depending with the settings, your organization or your phone, or the type of antivirus software that you're using. So they're customizable as well. You can do what you want. You can open the things that you want. You can block the things that you don't want. And also, most of them comes with firewalls nowadays. So a firewall is something cool. It blocks those ports that we spoke about. it checks, it can track to see where did the information come from. You are able to do that if you're good in knowing all of that. So I think in the background you can see the various antivirus softwares. We've got Avast, we've got ESET, we've got Avira, we've got McAfee, we've got Norton. I think we've got Kaspersky. One of the cool ones is Microsoft Windows Defender, which most people don't actually use. They just think that it doesn't work, but it's actually one of the best to protect your Windows from getting this, as long as it's updated. So here we go. We need to make sure that we have an antivirus in our systems. So we're talking about firewalls. A firewall is a network security device that monitors incoming and outgoing traffic and permits or blocks data packets based on set of security rules. So whenever you have a firewall, I think most organizations do have firewalls, you set rules to say, I do not want Facebook. So you block the entire Facebook platform. So no one at your organization can access it. Even at home, parents can even block the entire Facebook, YouTube, all these other platforms that they feel or that they think might be hazardous to their children. They can block using firewalls. And remember, Facebook uses a certain port. I think I'll give that as a homework to you. You can find out which port Facebook uses. So as a firewall rule, you block every incoming packets or data that comes from that specific port. You can actually block it. And when someone tries to go on Facebook, it won't allow them. I know that most organizations like schools, they don't allow such. So it is a barrier between your internal network and incoming traffic, which is a good thing. It's good to have always to set firewall rules, because viruses these days are coming in different forms, and you might think it's your friend, and your friend has been hacked, and you're answering, and then the virus is already doing its own. So firewalls are a good thing. So we move on to section 3. Says complete one of the following. Let's just have a look. Okay, so here I just put a link on the history of the internet, and I spoke about it earlier. So it says here, complete. You need to write at least 200 to 300 words about the history of the internet and how it started, when it started, and all of that. So I put a link for you there on the slide. You can check there. Whatever I spoke about earlier, it is there. And so you can only answer one of the following. And then the other part says that you should do a presentation, a 2 or so presentation about how the internet works and all of that. So that you can do it on your own spare time. I think that is needed. You need to take screenshots of what you have researched and send it to your instructors so that you can be able to mark that you have done. So we're still talking about viruses. So the next question is, why is antivirus software important? I think from all the threats that we spoke about, the viruses, it is important to have an antivirus. For as long as computers have been and will be in existence, whether connected to the internet or not, there will always be a need for an antivirus software. There will be a time when people, whether mischievous youths seeking to thrill or hardened cyber criminals looking to exploit billion-dollar companies, will stop looking to find ways to commit fraud. As long as we are people and they're human beings that are naughty, it's always good to have an antivirus. So it prevents you from such attacks. At least it warns you. I know that there are very cunning guys that can even bypass, that can even write malicious code that even some of these other antiviruses are not able to detect such. And things like your WannaCry, your ransomware, those guys that really wrote those malicious code are very good, and it's difficult to detect. And make sure also, I think I should mention it here, make sure if you're on a mobile device, don't just open your Bluetooth for nothing, because Bluetooth also gives access to even if it's not paid. I know that people say, no, I have to pay, I have to accept it. That can just, as long as you and even be able to turn on your network and be able to access that. So make sure you have an antivirus either on your phone. There are quite a number of them that you can choose from. So basically, it is important to have an antivirus so that you can prevent attacks or corruption. How do we get computer viruses? There are 5 most common ways to get computer viruses. The first one is social media. Facebook. I see this cool picture, you're on Facebook every day, you just click links that you find there. There's promotions, you're just clicking. When you click, it also gets to your network and gets to you. The files are corrupted. You download the nice pictures, you download the nice movies they send, or the latest videos, not necessarily Facebook, maybe WhatsApp, even Instagram, just getting things that you don't know and downloading. And by installing, or as long as it gets to your machine, it corrupts the entire phone or your entire machine and you lose your information. You also, just like from downloading software from malicious sites, you what you call Pirate Bay, downloading torrents. No, there's a cool movie, but it's not there yet, but I can get it on a torrent. And what do I need to get a torrent? Maybe BitTorrent, uTorrent, whatever torrent, and then you get it. And there's malicious code on it. And before you know it, you're attacked. So be careful on the sites you download stuff, and you just click everything. So when you get to Google, don't just click, make sure an advert on it. Make sure you trust, you know the link before you can click on it and choose. You can also get malicious viruses from unpatched software. So it is important, it is imperative rather do this every time there is a software update for your phone, there is a software update for your machine. Make sure your machine is updated and it's up to date. Even if the software that you're getting, don't get a 2000 type of software that is already out of cycle and people are no longer using it. I think I can give you a tip. Windows 7, I know it has been a very good Windows for so many people. Windows XP, it's no longer supported. There's no longer updates for it. Why do you want to continue using it? You are going to open a can of worms for yourself because there's no more patch updates or software updates for it. So rather use the latest softwares that are out there, and you do yourself good from getting these viruses. Even opening attachments from unknown links of spoofed emails. No, I've got an email. I know, you know that there's these guys that always send an email to say, hey, my name is John Okay, I'm from this country, I'm from maybe Romania, and my father was a rich guy, and now because of war, I've got a lot of money that I want it transferred. So please, if you can help me, I can give you maybe 10% of the 50 million that I have. I just need your account number and all of that. Those emails come and be like, yo, I'm gonna make money. What happens? You open it. The spoofed email, they just need certain details about emails, which I think is also beyond the scope of this. So there's an example of an email that someone opened and they don't even know what it is. No, did I do a shipping order? No, so you have one such a thing and you open the link, you get a virus. And some of the virus that you might get might be difficult to, you might end up losing everything. So it is important to constantly update the antivirus software. So most of them, if you are purchasing, they have a 1-year license. So every year you pay a fee. I'm not sure how much, depends with which one you you're advised to take. I personally prefer the ones that I use. I use my Windows Defender. I don't pay anything as long as Microsoft brings updates, which is good. I used to use Avast Kaspersky, but ESET is one of the good ones. The other one that I've used after I was attacked by a certain virus was Malwarebytes. It was good because it even gets to your rootkit. It even scans the entire system for you, routing registries and bring everything. So it is good to always have an updated antivirus. So how does this antivirus spread on your computer? You can read that on the slide, but basic things is sharing, downloading things that you receive from friends, and then you send it, you duplicate it like everybody else. Did you check this video on your WhatsApp? Please send it to me, please send it to me. So it's multiplying. Just imagine everyone is receiving it, and also sharing information using your flash drives. I got it from so and so, then the flash drive is shared with everybody else, hard drives. As it gets into each computer, that file that is corrupted or that has got a virus can spread. And before you know it, and others multiply like a proper virus, they actually multiply and encrypt the entire files. So we're almost coming to an end. So it says, number 5 says, in what ways do content filters like net nanny, parental control protect your family? There is, that link that they put on that honor. If you try to go there, you will not be able to get that file. So I just put it in so that I can explain it. So in case you want to go, that file, I think they removed it. It's not there. I tried to get it. I wanted to actually give you an example of a form that you guys as a family can use to. So we have got all these parental control, parental control. Okay, so there is, sorry about that, I was just trying to help someone. So there are quite a number of softwares that are used for parental control. There is Norton, LifeLock, there is Net90 at the back, there's Kaspersky, there is Cycle, there is Quastodio. All of these for parents, if you wanna monitor what your kids are doing on these phones, on their machines, you can actually purchase one of these. Some of them are not so expensive. I think it's like 10 bucks. And then you have your parental control. It can actually do a lot of, it's got a lot of features like Kaspersky. It says that a fully affordable parental monitoring system for desktop and mobile platform doesn't impose limits on the number of devices you can monitor. We can have that as well. Norton, we have Studio, we have Secom. All of these, I think, for parents, if you want to control, if you want to have actually control on what sites they visit or block the sites they visit, you can actually. These are just a few. I just brought a few here, but they're actually good. I know we use one for my daughter. Which is good. We don't just allow them to visit, so we have one to watch. As we come to the end, it says here, show your ability to navigate your way around the internet. And I think we might have to do a bit of some practicals. And let me just get to I need to move to a different place so that at least we can just do a small demonstration of how the internet works. So at this moment in time, I'm just going to take, I think, a few questions, or let me rather finish. Let me rather finish because I'm only left with about 2 slides or 3 slides rather. Let me just finish with the slides and then I'll show you the practical. So number 6 just asks us to be able to navigate and see if we can navigate. So I'm going to show you a practical how you can navigate on the internet. Number 7 also says demonstrate your ability to use email by demonstrating the following. If necessary, create an email account with a distinct username. So I'm just going to create a dummy email account and show you. I think we'll get to see if it's COP or IMAP. Yeah, so basically for now we end here. Okay, wait, there's still another slide. Okay, it says here, please maybe explain 5 principles of operating email safely. Number 1, these are the principles. Do not reply to unknown emails or spam. If you do not know that email address, if you have never spoken to that person, there are ways, I think, which is beyond also the scope. There are ways you can tell if this email is a fake email. You can actually, there is a tool online which can actually tell you if it's a proper IP address. I think it's just type on Google who is, and then you go to that, you paste that email or that domain. You'll be able to see when the person was registered. It can actually tell you where the domain is coming from or who the actual person is. So please do not reply to unknown emails or spam. Do not open email attachments unless you're sure that they are okay and that your antivirus program is fully updated. Not every attachment should be downloaded. So you make sure you just don't click just because there's an attachment. I want to see it's coming from a bank. Maybe it's my money. Just don't, unless if you're sure. And of course, report any material sent to you in email. So these webmails, email clients have got ways of where you can report some stuff that is sent to you that you're not sure of, if it's a spam, if it's something that violates your human rights or something like that. You can actually report to them, or if you feel that whatever you've received breaks God's law, make sure you do not open or send such. Number 4, never respond to unsubscribed directions in a spam or unwanted commercial emails. It's normally those things that always pop up in your mailbox. I think for this can be meaningful to counselors and directors, especially those that use emails. Don't just because it's unsubscribe it because I never subscribed to it, and then you just click on unsubscribe. You might actually open a lot of can of worms to yourself. And then, of course, keep your computer's operating system patches up to date. Make sure whenever the operating system provider has an update, make sure you are updated. And I know that, I think for Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken, I think they always put in a patch every Wednesday. There is a patch, there is an update. Make sure you update your system from their sites, like Microsoft Windows Update, using their tools. Like if you type on your search on your space on your taskbar there, you can just say check updates, and then it takes you to that tool, and then you
quick updates your antiviruses, it updates your word processor, it updates your tools.
I guess we have lost Adam.
Praswe, can we ask the last questions probably as he comes back?
Okay, Sister Blessing.
Okay.
Ayanda
To,
and Tawanda.
to Ayanda and team, the questions that are in the chat, what is cookie? Normally a message pops up below when one is using the search engine. If one wants to download a file that says accept cookie. And the other one is it possible to stop a virus or a worm before it uploads? The very same person says, I meant I had Avast, but there was a website that I knew it had no virus, but I couldn't go through the website. So what am I supposed to do? And the other one is it possible to limit time spent on a certain website or app if it's the phone? I think those are the last questions that we have.
Okay, whilst the others are thinking, I think I'll try and address the one for cookies, right? What is a cookie? You see, a cookie is a message that a web server will pass to your browser when you visit a site that sits on that web server. So it's a message from the web server that is alerting you, the user, as you are approaching that server, that web service or server provider, of things that you need to be aware of, things that you need to agree to, so that they can either allow you to communicate with their web server or not. So especially this month of July, we know that the POPI Act, that's the Personal Protection Act, Personal Information Act, came into being. Most websites updated their cookies. So in July, as long as you're logging onto a website, you would get a cookie trying to tell you that, hey, as you are communicating with this web service, we are going to get certain personal information of yours. As Adam highlighted in the beginning, there is personal data you send through your IP and your MAC address to via the World Wide Web, and the receiving, the device that is listening or the server that is listening will ask and will look into that information. So this is why cookies are there. They are there to protect you. They're also there to protect the website that is sending them. They do track you. You will, if you have realized, let's say you are searching for a jacket on the internet, you're looking at prices, you go into Facebook on another device. All of a sudden, in your adverts on Facebook, it's showing you that it's showing you people who supply similar jackets. They're advertising there. So that's what also happens in the background because of cookies. I do not know if any other have contributions on that one. I will also look at the other question that was brought up. Okay, let me. Can you hear me? There's another question in the chat that was raised there that deals with sorry, let me quickly go to the chat. That deals with Avast. Sorry, I meant I had Avast, but there was a website that I knew it had no virus, but I couldn't go through the website. So what am I supposed to do? You see, what most of these service providers do, Avast, Kaspersky, they update their virus databases on a regular basis. So every morning you switch on your machine, they'll tell you that you need to update. Avast, you update every day. What they're basically doing there is they're updating, okay, these are the known viruses. These are the known viruses that we know. So, and because we know them, we are telling your system that whenever they pick or get wind of such kind of cookies or information in regard to these viruses, it will block. So yes, yesterday you might have logged onto a particular website, but tomorrow your virus protector will tell you, no, you shouldn't. Why? Because during that time between yesterday and today, certain information has come to light. Maybe other people in a certain part of the world have been attacked by malicious software or code or viruses from that particular website. So it will block it. And when your antivirus tells you that it's a bad website, the best thing you can do for yourself is avoid the website. Because tomorrow, if you bypass your security, you get a virus on your machine and you end up losing even more. So it would be best to just bypass that.
Welcome back, Adam. Adam, can you hear me?
Thank you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you please go ahead?
Okay, sorry guys about that. So let's just do a demonstration of how you can search on the web. So normally most people, what they do is they just type in the Google, and you just click the Northern Conference. So they look at the first thing that comes, they click it, right? But there is a better way of doing things.
Adam, you are muted.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so someone muted me because I'm not the host on this other device. So I was saying there is a way of, a better way of, let's say you want to look for the Northern Conference Junior Youth without going to all that. So if you see on the search engine, which is the Google, remember we talk about the search engine, so basically on top here, it's the browser, and here at the bottom is your search engine. So if you just click where I say, I'm feeling lucky. So if you click that I'm feeling lucky, it will take you direct to that website for the Northern Conference. Let's have a look. I've clicked on it. So it should take you automatically without you going to all of those other and starting to search and see, is it the right one? So if you know the website, just click I'm feeling lucky, and then it should take you to the correct website. So there is a lot of ways that you can browse websites. Let's see the other one. Maybe which one can I? Let me see in your requirement here. Wait me a sec. So maybe let's do Adventist.org. So we can just type www, or without that I can just type Adventist.org. And then of course, if I want, I can just click on feeling lucky. It should be able to take me to the website of someone explaining about cookies. So cookies are all good thing and a bad thing, but you can accept If you want, if you don't want, you need to read the terms and conditions of whatever. Since this is our website for the church, I can accept. There's also one thing that maybe I might not have explained. As you can see on this website, I'm sure if you can see, if you look at the Adventist, there is a small key here. There is a small key that you can see. That it shows you that the website is secure, and it also is using, remember we spoke about protocols, it is using this protocol called HTTPS. So the S there is for secure. So there is HTTP and there's HTTPS. So whenever you try to visit website, make sure that it's HTTPS. And I think most websites also, if you're doing some payments at the bottom here, they also have locks, keys that can lock. So in a nutshell, what you're just supposed to do on this part of the requirement, you need to learn to navigate to different websites, and then you can, let's do another one, and then do a guide magazine.org. Guidemagazine.org. Let's see if it can take us to the exact. Hopefully, it's still working. So it should take us to this website. Probably most of you might not be knowing about this website. And of course, like I said, they talk about things that pertains to the guides. You can check out. So basically, your requirement is to visit a district website of your choice, but they've given a better way of finding them. They've given you these ones, probably they are most useful. And then if you're using a Windows computer, just there is something that is, let me just have a look here on my keyboard. It says print screen, I think. You can just print screen it, press that button on your keyboard, and then copy it to a Word document. So I can open my document now. My Word.
Adam. Tech team, can we take some questions?
Yes.
Okay. There is this one which is saying, how do you block someone who is stalking you on the internet and the person's different numbers too? How do you block someone who is stalking you on the internet and the person's different numbers too? And I think this one also was not answered, Tawanda, which is saying, is it possible to limit time spent on a certain website or app if it's the phone? Then, so if you make an internet that everyone can use, can you control what they search or write? What do you do when someone is talking you on the internet? Is that the same one with the above one? You block them, but they still send you messages. What do you do when someone is talking? Yes, it's the same message, I think. So those are the questions that needs to be attended to. Joyka Fautava, can you add your question so that it can be attended to? I can see your hand have been long for quite a while.
Okay. I see Brother Adam is back. Adam, are you still continuing with the demo or can you handle questions now?
Tawanda, I'm not sure. I think someone kicked me out, or because I checked my network, looks fine. I'm not sure what's going on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. There were questions that were put on the floor, so those are the ones we are trying to attend at this present time. All right. The question that I'm looking at right now is blocking someone who's stalking you on the internet. Right? Remember, as already highlighted, your internet is very broad. Right? It covers your emails, it covers websites you visit, it covers social media and platforms that you are attached to. And because of the various and the many places that you communicate with people on the internet, the social media platforms have their own rules and regulations. So, for example, if someone is on Facebook and you are trying to block them and stop them, there is protocols that you need to follow on the platform that you are using on the internet. So you do not have a blanket that fits all. It depends on where they are stalking you, and you use the protocols of the service provider that is there. If it's on WhatsApp, because it uses the internet and is sending to you, you can block the number, or you can block the number. But what happens with WhatsApp, as long as that person has got your phone number, you can always get a new line and have your number on his phone, and he can start seeing you and sending you messages, but you can block him. And then you can also report through that same platform that you are getting this problem with this particular person or individual. So it's always important to block and also report. Emails, likewise, there are protocols that you follow. Block, send to spam, you can block user, block a domain when you're using Gmail. The good thing about Gmail compared to other email providers is that Gmail has got a facility, or has got a function where it can pick up some of these things before they take place. So it can help. So remember, wherever he's stalking you, on whatever platform, there are protocols you can follow. You normally find those protocols when you search for it on that given platform. So that was one of the questions. The other question that was mentioned, let me get there. Whilst I'm getting to the next question, are there any comments from the rest of the team, or is the person happy with the explanation?
Okay, Tawa, are you done?
No, there's another question. I didn't write them down, but there was there was the question about blocking people who on the internet, who continually.
Okay, let me help you, Tawanda. The other one that is after that one is that, is it possible to limit time spent on a certain website or app if it's the phone?
On the phone.
Yes.
I think Adam addressed that one when you was talking about firewalls and getting certain apps installed on the device. A firewall in a given, if you've got a particular network or infrastructure in the wall, a firewall, you can basically highlight which websites people cannot go onto. At work, for example, no social media websites. So basically what they did is they put in IPs of Facebook, IPs of WhatsApp web, etc., onto the firewall. Then as our machines, remember, as Adam was showing us, you would type on your machine in the browser there, www.facebook.com.
that goes and looks for a particular IP that's related to that address. So the firewall will say, I'm not allowed to send information to that firewall. So it would block and it would stop you from visiting that website. So with your firewalls, you can do it. Now there are people who have made it simpler because it would have taken a lot of, effort and time to get those IPs. They've put them across as apps. So you need to get the apps. I think there was a slide that Brother Adam shared. You install it on the devices. You can track what the child is going on to. You can even limit the times or give them the times that they can access a particular app or a particular website. If you know, right now on many smart devices, when you buy a smart device, I would recommend, if you are a parent, you be the main user on the device. Then you put, if you are giving that device to a child, you give them child access. So many smart devices now are coming with a dual user, where the dual user or the guest, it's not a guest user, but the next user is a child user. And there are only the content they have access to are for their age group. And you can also determine which apps or particular apps or website.
Okay, can
under that profile. Yes, Adam.
Can we just do the two demonstrations and then we can finish up?
Noted.
Blessing, is that fine?
Go ahead, Adam.
Yes. So like I was showing,
Thank you, Tawanda.
yeah, so like I was showing you, that's a way of getting to websites you want. So creating an email basically is an easy thing. You need to put your name, the last name, and one thing you guys need to note is that people are not what they say they are when they're online. So you might think you'll be chatting to Adam, can't you're chatting to someone else, to a monster or someone who molests his kids and all of that, and you're thinking you've met a friend. So basically you can just put your name, surname, and a username. So as you can see, I have mine already. I'm just using the Gmail. Remember we spoke about webmail clients. So Gmail is also, or Google platform is also another way of putting or creating emails. So let me just demonstrate. Let's say, just say last name, I can decide whatever I want. And then use the name, I can just say a Gmail password. So here is also another key thing to note. So it's telling me that this user has been taken. If I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Let's Google 3. Let's see. Okay. Let me check their suggestions. So one thing that you guys need to learn to note is that the password must be a very strong password, because most people, the mistake they make is that because I'm new to email, your birthday is your password. You put your birth date, your parents' birth date. The password must be strong. You can mix letters and numbers and characters. Those type of passwords that you use using that are more powerful and are difficult to crack by hackers. But because you're just putting your date of birth, I was born in 2001 on the 24th of May, 19 or whatever. Numbers are the easiest thing to crack. It actually doesn't take sorry, let me just tell you one experiment I did the other time. I tried to, actually, of course, with their consent, I tried to hack someone else's Wi-Fi when I was still trying to learn to hack, and
Voila, I think it took me exactly 2.5 minutes. I had their password. And their password was just a chunk of numbers. So numbers are the easiest thing to crack. So when you're putting in a password, probably even if for you as well as leaders, make sure your password is strong, but don't forget it. So you need to put a strong password. I think Google normally suggests, but I'm not saying use the Google password. You can put in your strong password and then you need to confirm it. And of course, you need to say next. Let me just say
We are losing you, Adam.
Okay. I think he's covered much of the. I think Adam has covered most of the requirement, right? We can maybe attend to 1 or 2 questions, then we close off because I see it's already 4:30.
Thank you, Tawanda.
Okay. Those questions.
There's a question here from Mufaro. It says, how can you stop installing block password?
How can you stop installing a block password?
Yes.
I'm not privy to what a block password is. Maybe if they can give a bit more detail.
Okay, I'm back, Zwelani. I think let me not waste much time in trying to create these emails, but it's an easy process. Okay. The last part of the presentation asks us to use Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, my Bible. Let me quickly go there and read it. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. And it says here, whatever, finally, brethren, whatever is. I think Luca read the verse earlier on. It says in your hearing, it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think of these things. Think on these things. And so the internet, like we've been talking about, it's got good things, it's got bad things. And trust me, I think a portion of good things are there, but most of the things are bad and things that happen. Everyone on the internet is trying to make a living. They can make a living out of you if you're not careful. So Paul is just making sure that is advocating that, guys, if anything that you find on the internet, whatever you find on the internet, if it is good, use it, right? If it is worthy of praising God, use it, right? If it is not a good thing to use the internet, I'm just trying to paraphrase because I see my network is busy dropping me out, in and out. But I think Tawanda and the rest of the team can actually explain further if so if you find good things on the internet that actually are helpful or that match the text, you can actually use them for your good. I know that there are a number of websites that have good information for kids, that have good especially like I think the one that we showed you, the one that says magazine for guide. You can get a lot of information from there. You can also find Bibles online if it's good and it does not lead you out of Christ or from lead you away from Christ. Those things are good. If they are lovely, if they are things that can actually give and praise the name of the Lord, those things you need to look at. And
make sure whenever you search, whatever you do on the internet is not gonna hurt you or your family one way or the other. So I think in closing, I want to say that as a family unit, maybe from your homes, make sure you have got rules of how you guys go on the internet, how much time you spend there, and what is it that you're looking for. Is it only schoolwork, or you're busy chatting with friends and all of that? So in a nutshell, that's all from me. Sorry for the network glitches. I hope people have learned a lot. I will be stopping to share if possible, or I should wait for questions. So questions before my internet chucks me out again, or Tawanda and Ayanda can continue as they were. Thank you very much.
Okay, Adam, whilst you're still here, there was a question that I could not answer. Maybe you could assist. The question is talking about block passwords. Block passwords.
Block what?
Block password.
Okay, let me quickly go to the chat, Tawanda. Maybe I can find it there.
Okay.
Chart. Oh, I think I lost every chart, but
Yeah,
when I
read it? Can I read it for you?
Yes, sir.
It says, how can you stop installing? I'm not so sure whether the installing is INSTELING block password. So I thought it was installing. How can you stop installing a block password or something like that? It was coming from Mufaro. I'm not so sure if we can maybe give him a platform to ask the question.
Yes, if you can, thank you. That would be great.
Mufaro, can you please unmute and share your question with the rest of the platform?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mufaro, go ahead.
How can you break a password that's not letting you like install anything?
Okay, so Mufaro is trying to bypass, say for example, let's just say hypothetically your parents have blocked you from installing particular softwares and you want to bypass that. I think that is beyond the scope here. We cannot be teaching people to break the rules, but there is, but we cannot be divulging those here, and I'm not sure if it's the right answer, but you cannot bypass things that you're not supposed to be. If you're not supposed to install the software, Mufaro, do not install the software. Maybe the software that you're trying to install is a malicious software. Thank you. Another question, Sweli?
Okay.
Are you answered, Mufaro?
Yes.
Okay.
No, there's another question.
Okay.
This one is from
Okay.
Lynn. It says, is the presentation going to be uploaded in, if so, which platforms? I think this one is straightforward. Lynn, the presentation was also available on YouTube and on Facebook. So you can visit YouTube on NCSA on our YouTube page, and you will find it is already there. The presentation will be there. Thank you very much. I'm not so sure if there are any more questions or there are any hands that we can take. If there are no hands, I will hand over back to my co-host, Blessing.
Okay, before we close, I'm seeing Joy. Joy, can you please unmute and ask your question? Then probably this will be our last question.
I wanted to ask Mr. Adam, the question number 3 that says complete one of the following. I wanted to ask what you said about it, because previously when you're explaining, I could not hear you due to your network.
Adam, are you still around?
Tech team, is there someone who can attend to the question from Joy?
Afternoon, hi Joy. I'm going to read what the requirement is saying here. Né? It's saying complete one of the following. Write a brief history, 250 to 300 words about the internet. Then part 2 of it is present a 2-minute talk concerning that history. So what you will need to do is, if you have forgotten about it, you go onto YouTube or Facebook. The beginning of Adam's presentation, he did talk about the history there. And there's a link that is shared. Or you can go to Google and you can get that information for you to complete that part of the honor. So this is what you need to do as someone who is taking the honor. Then the rest of the requirement that you need to complete, the honor I know is going to be circulated. It looks at some of the things we spoke about here. Why is it important to have an antivirus? What do you do if you have received a virus? Why should you update your antivirus? And how can you protect your family and friends from sharing that particular virus? So you can watch.
Okay, thank you, Tawanda. Am I audible? Am I audible again?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. I think Tawanda has actually explained it. So basically, you just need to write a summary of what we spoke about, the history of the internet, where it started, and landmarks and all of that. I think that is on the. I shared the link. So the link is in the presentation. The link is in the presentation. You can check the history. Everything you need is there, and then you just have to write up, and then you can answer that one question or the B part of the question. You can do a 2-minute, 3-minute talk concerning the history of the internet. Thank you. Any other question?
There is Adasa. Can you please unmute and ask your question?
Okay. That looks. Is everybody sorted now, Blessing?
There is a question on the presentations that is saying, is there a way to just get the PowerPoint presentation? I did not hear Tawanda clearly. Probably answered that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure. The presentation can be made available. I think we can just convert it to the format that is correct for people to just look at it. And then, yeah, people should be able to get it, whoever wants it.
Okay, I just written in the chat. The question is, what do you do when someone? Oh, this was answered, Adasa. I'm not sure if you did not get the answer though. Probably you can just summarize it to Hadassah. It is asking about someone who is stalking you on internet, you block them. They still send you messages.
Okay, so normally people that stalk, they're only stalking people on social media platforms. And on these social media platforms, there are channels that you can follow to alert the providers of that service, or say Facebook. There are rules when someone is stalking you and you tell them, you block them, you actually can give them a report. And then they're the ones that are able to block that person from following and stalking you. So that person can be blocked and not be able to use that service. But like I said, people don't always say whatever you see online is not what they actually is there. So other people can block this account, they open another. So it's just a crazy world that happens on there. So just be careful and use platforms and connect to people that you know and that you can freely or safely talk to, instead of just connecting to everyone. This person wants to befriend me, this person wants to befriend me, and then have a list of 10,000 users and you think you're a hero, but not knowing that you're also creating a can of worms for yourself. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I can say to you, Adasa.
The question is added again with Hadassah there to say, so if you make an internet that everyone can use, can you control what they search or write?
Okay, so Adasa, I would like to use the word impossible to create your internet that is public, because it's already there. But if you're looking for a local network, like what the former person who presented or actually commented on it said, if it's on your own network at your own place, right, then yes, you can control. But if it's for the public usage, it's difficult to control. A lot of measures have been put, but people still break these rules and do other things because it's a public domain. Okay, I think I am done, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adam, for the presentation and the tech team for attending to the questions and all the help that we have got. I hope and trust that as Pathfinders, we have learned a lot. I, for one, I have learned a lot of things about the internet. I would like to thank you for attending, our Pathfinders and all the participants. Now I'll hand this time over to Officer Swelani to speak upon the upcoming honors. Then after he speaks, we have the closing remarks from our VC.
Thank you, Officer Blessing. Good afternoon once again to everybody. We thank you for attending, and here are our upcoming honors according to our dates. The next one is on the 7th of August. It is Lighthouses, and our presenter is going to be Zetu Lunga. On the 28th of August is social media. It will be related to this one that we're having today. We're having internet, but we saw social media featuring here and there. But specifically, social media is coming on the 28th of August. And Officer Ayanda Nomache will present. And the last one is going to be on the 4th of September, which is nutrition. Dr. Tabo Mututswane is going to be our presenter for that one. We expect to see you there as we continue with our learning processes through these honors. In a match, we know we are in a place where we cannot meet, but these online honors have given us a platform where we can continue learning, though in different parts. And I believe that as you are doing these honors, you are filling in your workbooks. And in case you do not have your workbooks, contact your directors or your area coordinators. They will forward them to you. God bless you. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. VC.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. Thank you so much. I think Blessing has already done closing remarks to appreciate your attendance. Hope to see you in our next honor, of which Officer Zolwani has already alluded on the dates. Thank you, Tech Team. Thank you, Pathfinders, counselors, and officers for attending. I hope you had a meaningful discussion. I will therefore request all the YCOM Pathfinder team to remain. Having said that, we will have a closing prayer from, let me see. I've seen Officer Munashe here. Officer Munashe, are you still here? Munashe? Okay, he's not here. Okay, I will ask Usibu to pray for us. Sibu?
Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, for Sunday, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for giving us another chance to live, Lord. Lord, please protect us, Lord. And Lord, please protect those on the streets, Lord. Please protect them, Lord. And Lord, please have those in the hospitals, Lord. Please put your healing them on them, Lord. We pray in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Before you go, let me allow me to acknowledge the support of the VC for adventurers, Isabel Ndlov. Wherever you are, may you please just unmute your video and greet us. And thank you, guys. Till next time, YCOM team, Pathfinder team, please remain. Thank you. Officer Isabel. She is just saying thank you, team.
Oh, hi. I can only wave with my voice. Thank you, guys. I got a bit scared with the owner, but I'm happy. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for your support. Pathfinder team.
I hope you heard me.
We heard you. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, perfect.
Sekuzwile sis.
Bye, guys. Bye, Pathfinders. We love you. Bye-bye.
Tawada, thanks, Baba. The internet gave me I don't know what's going on. I ended up changing devices and devices. Yeah.
We need people to exit. I don't know.
It's
Adam,
one of
we
those.
still have visitors. Adam, we still have visitors.
Oh, sorry.
Visitors, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We would love to have a family meeting. We love you so much. Ayana, may you please stop the recording? Thank you. Who is user? Who is user? Okay, user has been removed. Thank you so much, guys. It's that time of doing a post-mortem. Zwelani, may you please lead the process? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you once again for attending the
Sorry,
honor. And
Sherin is saying that it's still streaming.
It has stopped.
are you sure?
Yeah, I don't see any recording.